Hey guys, Ponce here, and Riot has just revealed Tahm Kench, the next champion to be released. Now, just so everyone's clear, he's not currently, at the time of the filming of this thing, not on the public test realm, but he will be very shortly, so, by the time you see this, he may be, and, check the description, annotation, all that stuff for actual gameplay or in-game stuff. For the time being, we're just going to look over the abilities which Riot has revealed for us, and just sort of see what we can garner from that. So yeah, let's start off with his abilities, starting with the passive. As you can see, when he auto-attacks or deals damaging abilities, he applies these little fish stack things, which go up to 3. The stacks in and of themselves don't seem to do anything, but they'll allow him to interact with his abilities slightly differently, or basically apply effects with his abilities. So next we have Tongue Lash. So he shoots his tongue out, applying a slow under normal circumstances. But if the champion has 3 stacks on them, it has to be a champion specifically, it looks like, the thing gets stunned. We don't know the stun duration yet, but it looked kind of long by the end of that. You couldn't quite tell because they cut the video off. But next we have Devour. Now, Devour is a rather interesting one. Let's start that again. Just ate a minion there. Spits it out for damage. And see, he applies stacks. In that instance, he just ate an ally. Gets a speed boost. Just ate an enemy champion after applying 3 stacks. You can only eat an enemy champion like that once you've applied the stacks, incidentally. And then you can wander around, but you're a lot slower. And there's a lot of info on that here, so I'll link again to the I'll link to all this stuff in the description below, so you can read it at your own leisure there. Thick skin. This one looks pretty crazy. Notice the gray health. So passively he'll get it back. There's the active version. All that gray health he had turned into a shield. So that seems actually quite good. I don't know if there's a cap on that, but that was a pretty huge shield. Abyssal Voyage. Here's his ult. So basically it looks like he can travel really large distances. It's not global. It does have a range on it if you kind of read what it says. So let's look at this again. Notice there's this very thin passage here, which means he's probably selected the point where on the map where he's going to pop up on. This is inference again, but I think it's a relatively safe bet. So the enemy knows where he's going to show up. So it's not, just like a free show up suddenly anywhere and the people can't react. And he's channeling this whole time, so people know he's going to show up. So it's kind of a cross between like TF and Rek'Sai almost, except you can take a passenger, which is quite interesting. A lot of interesting potential for that. Now, according to Riot, they have a section for both support and as a solo laner, presumably top lane. I don't see where else he would go. That's quite interesting that they would release something else that's at least somewhat intended to be a support. Just given that Bard is released, but there's no rule saying you can't have multiple supports in a short period of time. If you ask me, he gives me a very strong Nautilus kind of vibe, almost, in terms of just sort of his general role. In terms of his kit, there's other things I'll talk about in a sec. But, just the fact that he's sort of this, what looks like to be a tanky support, but also could, in theory, go in solo lane, which makes me wonder how good his jungle would be, but I don't know the numbers, so it's too hard to say. Also, his ganks really wouldn't be the best, I imagine. Well, I guess he can get off a Tongue Lash slow. Obviously, like I said, his ult kind of reminds me of Rek'Sai, except there doesn't have to be that tunnel condition, I suppose. And that eat ability, the Devour. Let's take a look at this one again. Well, not this part, but like the eating the enemy part. It seems like you could do some really funny things. Like you eat the enemy here in a second. The enemy gets eaten like that. It seems like, if you happen to go a solo lane and you have, I don't know, a Thresh on your team, you pull people. I don't know if this actually works, but I don't see why it wouldn't. You pull people back with the Thresh, or if you have a Kalista on your team, you're supporting a Kalista, eat someone, Kalista ults you, that kind of thing. Now, this kind of stuff already exists in the game. You can, in theory, already do it with like what's that guy's name, Skarner and stuff, and you don't really see that. So I mean, I don't expect this to become a major thing. But the thing is, this guy, if in theory he is like an actual legitimate support, you would be seeing him in sort of a laning context with Callista. So that could be quite a funny combination. But we'll see how things pan out. So yeah, again, there's a lot of info in the actual Riot post here itself. So I highly recommend you check it out. Again, it's in the description below, along with in the future all gameplay stuff, those sorts of things. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And as soon as he's up on the public test drum, I'll let you know. I'm expecting later today, probably, if I were to make a guess, sometime in the next 5 hours or so. He should be up, but you never know what the deal is. So yeah, see you guys around, and thanks for watching.